Hello! This is going to blow your mind. Why don't more people talk about the Tokimura nuclear accident? Welcome to Crime Chronicles. The Tokimura nuclear accident is a story of tragedy and caution. Hisashi Ouchi, a worker at the nuclear power plant, lived a simple life. Every day, he put on his protective gear and joined his colleagues at the facility. It was a steady job, a good job. He believed he was helping his country. The work was hard but rewarding, and he was proud of his role. He never thought his work would make him infamous. He never thought it would be his end. The danger seemed distant, almost unreal. On September 30th, 1999, Ouchi was working. He was part of a team. They were experienced and confident in their routine. Their task was routine. They were transferring uranium solution. They had done it many times before. The team worked well together, each member knowing their role. The environment was controlled, the procedures well practiced. Ouchi and his colleagues were careful. They followed protocols, making sure every step was precise. But on that day, a small mistake happened, an oversight that would have terrible consequences. The mixture reached criticality. This meant uncontrolled nuclear fission. The energy released was immense, far beyond what anyone expected. A blue flash filled the room. Ouchi, along with two others, was hit by intense radiation. The exposure was instant and devastating. It was a silent attack, a deadly, invisible enemy. The radiation entered their bodies, causing damage at a cellular level. In that moment, their lives changed. They were no longer technicians. They were victims. The realization of what had happened came slowly, bringing fear and uncertainty. Nuclear victims, and their nightmare was just beginning. The days and weeks that followed would be filled with pain, suffering, and a fight for survival against an invisible foe. Radiation, we can't see it. We can't smell it. We can't taste it. It hides in the shadows, an unseen force that can strike without warning. It is a silent predator waiting to attack. But it can hurt us. It can change us. It can kill us. Radiation's effects are sneaky, getting into our cells and changing us. It can turn life into a fight for survival. When the blue flash hit Ouchi, countless atoms were splitting, releasing energy. The air buzzed with atomic power, a force that couldn't be stopped. Invisible bullets piercing his body, damaging his DNA, the blueprint of his being. Each cell, each strand of DNA was under attack, a silent war inside his body. At first he felt fine, no pain, no immediate sign of the damage inside. But the damage was done. The radiation was at work, unseen, unstoppable. It was only a matter of time before the symptoms showed, but the damage was done. The radiation was at work, unseen, unstoppable. It was a relentless force, continuing its destruction long after the initial exposure. The doctors knew. They had seen this before. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Chernobyl. They understood the grim reality of radiation exposure, the slow and painful decline that awaited Ouchi. Radiation sickness, a cruel, relentless enemy. And they knew the odds were not in Ouchi's favor. The battle against radiation was one that few could win, and the doctors braced themselves for the inevitable outcome. The hospital became Ouchi's prison. His body was a battleground. The radiation damaged his cells. His skin blistered and peeled. His organs started to fail. The pain was constant. 83 days. That's how long he held on. 83 days of terrible suffering. Machines kept him alive. His body was covered in burns and sores. He lost his hair. He lost his eyesight. His skin looked like melted wax. But Ouchi was not just a medical case. He was a person, trapped in a failing body, feeling pain that's hard to imagine. Every cell in our body has a job, a purpose. But radiation doesn't care about purpose. It disrupts. It destroys. Ouchi's chromosomes, once neatly organized, were scrambled, jumbled, like a book with its pages ripped out and randomly inserted. His cells, once dividing in an orderly fashion, were now in chaos. His white blood cell count dropped. His body couldn't fight infection. His immune system, once his protector, was now his enemy, attacking his own weakened body. His intestines, responsible for absorbing nutrients, broke down. He couldn't eat. He couldn't drink. His body, starved of the essentials, began to consume itself. Ouchi's case was unique. No one had ever survived such high radiation for so long. Doctors had a tough choice. Keep him alive. But at what cost? Some said to let him go, to end his pain. Others wanted to keep fighting, to save every breath. There were no easy answers, no clear right or wrong, just a storm of ethical questions, issues that troubled the medical team, questions that still matter today. When does keeping someone alive become making them suffer? Who gets to decide? And what can we learn from Ouchi's painful story? The doctors were pioneers, navigating new challenges. They tried new treatments, skin grafts, blood transfusions, anything to help Ouchi survive. They learned as they went, pushing medical limits, but the radiation was relentless, a tough enemy. They celebrated small wins, a stable heart rate, a slight drop in infection. Each win, however small, gave hope, a reason to keep fighting. But hope was tricky. The longer Ouchi lived, the more he suffered. The ethical dilemma grew. Was this life, or was it torture? News about Ouchi's accident spread quickly through newspapers, TV, and the internet. The world watched in shock as his story unfolded, showing the dangers of nuclear power. Some saw him as a hero and a victim, while others worried about the safety of nuclear power and if it was worth the risk. Ouchi, once an ordinary man, became a symbol and a warning. His suffering showed the human cost of nuclear power and started a global debate about its safety and future, a debate that still goes on today. On December 21, 1999, Hisashi Ouchi's heart stopped. He was 35 years old. His death was tragic, but his legacy is important. His suffering made the world aware of radiation dangers. This led to better nuclear safety rules and medical treatments. Ouchi's case is key in medical history, helping us understand radiation sickness, medical ethics, and starting a lasting conversation. Nuclear power is powerful but dangerous. It gives us clean energy but comes with big risks. Ouchi's story shows these risks clearly. His death pushed the anti-nuclear movement and made people question who is responsible. Governments and companies had to rethink their safety rules, invest in better training and equipment, and focus on worker safety. Ouchi's sacrifice led to changes in the nuclear industry to prevent another tragedy like his. Hisashi Ouchi's name may fade, but his story should not. His ordeal reminds us of the dangers of nuclear technology. It shows how fragile life is and the power of the atom. His suffering highlights the need for strict safety measures. Progress in nuclear technology is important, but not at the cost of human life. We must consider the risks to workers and nearby residents. We must learn from past mistakes like those that caused Ouchi's suffering. Disasters like Chernobyl and Fukushima remind us of what can go wrong. We need to use nuclear technology safely, putting people's well-being first. This means advancing technology and following strict safety rules. His story is a reminder of the human cost of nuclear mistakes. We must remember and learn from it to ensure such a nightmare never happens again. Let's honor his memory by promoting safety and respect in all nuclear work. Please like and share this video, and subscribe to our channel for more content. Let's go!